Hey guys, and welcome back to Really Seriously For Real, and welcome to day 2 of my Outlander 10 Days of Faves, where we're counting down my favorite moments in Outlander episodes to have aired so far until we reach the day we've all been waiting for, the season premiere. And be sure to check back every day and have your notifications on for this channel so you don't miss a thing. And remember, this will not be a full review. So we're skipping the intro and jumping right into it. The Garrison Commander. This is episode 6 in season 1, and by now we've spent a lot of time with the clan Mackenzie, getting to know the general dynamics in their family and what drives them as a people. We see how Claire's life is shaping in her new surroundings. Once Dougal takes her on the road with him to collect the rent across the Mackenzie lands, it makes you wonder what circumstances will she find herself in. A chance encounter with a British soldier answers that question. It's amazing how easily swayed I am. When this soldier asks Claire if she was here by her own choice, I kept shouting, "Don't do it! Don't turn on Dougal!" I was so torn. Like I said, we got to know the clan as a whole at this point, and while they're not the smoothest bunch, there was still something honorable about them. So when she said she was a guest, I breathed a sigh of relief for Dougal. And then another one when the soldier asked Claire to come with him. Just like Claire, I thought, well, this is great. She'll probably get to go back to Inverness and to the Stones. Once we were introduced to the most agreeable yet egocentric Brigadier General Lord Thomas, I relaxed even further. An honored guest, they said. The very best quality venison, they said. Even as she drank wine and regaled them all with stories of adventure in this land, I relaxed as a viewer. Even though I knew in the back of my head that if everything goes well with this luncheon, what's the purpose of the show? So something had to go wrong, and as she knocked back an additional glass of wine, in walks Blackjack Randall like a sly panther bounding into a fight. Our British host covered his glass of fine claret in haste and shooed Randall out of the room. Guys, let me tell you, I tucked my head in my shirt, leaving only my eyes visible to view. I kept repeating hastily, "Don't look at Claire, don't look at her." And like a child you tell to ignore the pie cooling on the oven, Blackjack Randall's steely gaze catches that of Claire's in a standoff befitting of a good Western. You knew if he spoke of his initial encounter with Claire in the woods, it would likely contradict any liquor-infused tales she told these gentlemen, and that would be it. Each of them were talking to each other with their eyes like two fighting fish in the same bowl, without the carnage. And then, as if someone stuck a literal pin in it, tension broke like a headache giving way to a strong pill. Blackjack denied their meeting. There was a part of me, while I breathed a sigh of relief, I wondered, why such kindness? It's not like he owed Claire anything. He didn't know her. What was his angle? Remember, if you only watched the show, you wouldn't know what sadistic fodder awaits. But the first clue presented itself during the tense shaving scene. This is what makes it one of my favorite episodes. Besides Jamie's initial reveal of his horrid encounter with the less nice version of Frank, Claire truly couldn't comprehend the complicated mindset of this man. As she navigated her tale and enhanced her narrative, clearly thinking her 20th century mind could outwit this 18th century commander, you wondered, does he believe her? And why did she tell Dougal to make himself scarce? When the commander began to sketch her, I was puzzled. I was on edge, yet relaxed. How is that possible? The music playing gave the impression of calm. The commander's care in his drawing almost seemed to admire his subject. It caught me off guard. I thought of the earlier episode where Frank spoke of sketching Claire's likeness in the margin of the book But you clever man. When the commander said he would call his drawing Beautiful Lies, my mouth dropped. And before I worried about the position Claire was in at the moment, I actually admired that he wasn't stupid and that he wouldn't easily fall because tears were shed. That would be the last time, however, that I would ever admire such a man. Because through their continued back and forth, he finally told his side of the story relating to Jamie's public flogging. That the butchered flesh of Jamie's back was an exquisite, bloody masterpiece and that it was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. Just when you think he couldn't get any more twisted in his conviction, he changes his tone and reminds Claire of his promise to reveal his true self to her. Tugging on her own experiences of war, and like an episode of Dr. Phil, he proclaims that moment as the rehabilitation of Black Jack Randall. Then, as a reward for her counsel, he tells her he will have her escorted to Inverness. I remember feeling so happy for Claire. With the crescendo of the music, the commander calls in Corporal Hawkins and reaches to assist Claire up from her seat, her guard down and overjoyed, not knowing that Blackjack used her own tactic on her, but sorry to say, did it better. She rose from the table thinking he was a broken man, hardened and twisted by war, something she knew all too well. So when he sucker punched her in the abdomen, I found myself ducking in my shirt again like a turtle. He actually does truly enjoy this torture. My eyes were so wide, they watered because I just couldn't believe it. He was pure evil. When Dougal busted in, I just about passed out. This episode put me through the motions, and it wasn't even over. Look, I said this wasn't going to be a full review, but this was also the episode where a band of brothers, well, Ned, cooked up a way to save Claire from an impending drop-off at Fort William by marrying Jamie. I could think of worse things. Now, I guess Claire understands exactly what Mrs. Graham meant by her marriage line being forked back in episode 1. So there's day 2 of my 10 Days of Faves. It was very heavy on Black Jack, but he's such a complicatedly evil character, expertly played by Tobias Menzies. But he was built to play those Randall boys. So join me tomorrow for day 2 of my 10 Days of Fave. We're getting closer, y'all. Until next time, guys.